Are you there? Happy Thursday, guys. So today I'm going to show you guys how to make a wood grain stamp. And you guys, these are examples of the ones that I've already made. This one I actually put a heart in the middle because I saw an online picture of one. I'm not sure if it was a stamp that is offered by a company or one that somebody carved out. Carved out. So, but this is one of the ones that I made. And then this is just how it looks on like craft paper. And this I wanted to show you guys because at the end, when I show you how to stamp it, you want to be careful to avoid this. And then this is just a regular type of wood grain stamp. Anyway, so what you guys are going to need for this is a rubber carving block. Mine is 4x6. So you guys, I know that at Michael's they have the pink ones and they're more of a silicone. I don't know, they don't feel so much as rubber as much as this one does, but they offer them there, and I believe this size is $6.99, and then they have like the one that's like 3x4 or something, and that's $3.99. I don't know, but this is actually a Safety Cut brand, but where I bought it is actually a local store. So if you guys do if you want to get one of these ones, I'll have it at my store, but the other one works just as fine. But anyway, this is 4x6, and you're gonna need a carving tool, and the number that we're gonna use for the tip is a number 2 tip. But if you're gonna buy it, I recommend just buying one that has, you know, at least a 5 starting tips. And mine's actually missing the top, but I got mine at Michael's, and this is rounded off at the end, and you can keep them in there. But I lost it, so I keep them in a little bag. But I don't remember how much it cost me, but I know that you can get them there, and that's Speedy Ball brand that I have. And you're also going to need to print out, just Google it, Google wood grain stamp on Google Image, and then just print out one that you like. It's not going to be the exact same thing, so you don't have to worry about any copyright thing or anything like that, but just print it out for reference. And you're gonna need a pencil, and it is, you know, essential that it's a pencil and not a pen. And so what you're gonna do is, using your wood grain print as a guide, you're kind of gonna try to get that on here. If you want to practice beforehand, like on a piece of paper, to see what type of design and how, like, play with it beforehand, you can go ahead and do that. And I would actually recommend that you do that. Maybe get a piece of white paper and just try to copy it from this to the paper. You could also use transfer paper for this and transfer this design onto here, but I don't have any transfer paper with me, so I'm just gonna try to copy it onto here. So, and it won't look the same, which, you know, is either good or bad. If you're a good artist, if you can draw, then it's good. If you're me, then it's bad. So anyway, I'm just gonna take and look at the things that I know that I really need to get in there first, which are these little, see these little circles, and over here, and then all these lines in between, they're just gonna, once you start carving, they're gonna naturally come out looking somewhat like that because the carving process does that. But you definitely want to get those things in there if you're trying to get, you know, those circles in there. So I am just gonna place it next to me and look at it while I'm doing this, and it's not gonna look the same for sure because I am not good at this, but I'm just gonna put little circles. And you know, none of these circles are actually really even or anything like that, so I'm just gonna leave that, and that's gonna represent my big one. And then down here they have a small one, so I'm just gonna put a small one. And if you don't have a printer or you don't have a computer, well, I'm pretty sure you might be watching somewhere else, so if you don't have a computer or anything like that, you can go outside in nature and actually try to see the wood pattern on the tree, you know. But other than that, yeah, you can just try to copy your image, or if you rather do that, you can just do that because you prefer it. And so now that I have 2 of them, I know they have this little thing down here where it's like coming off of it like that, and then one up here. And these are just guidelines. When you carve it out, you're not going to be carving out exactly what's on here. If you are going to do a regular carving out, like that you want something to look, you know, if you're going to do like a heart or something, or more complex like a face, then you would actually be careful on this part and trace it out nicely and make sure that your lines where you're going to, the lines that are going to stay are thick and other things like that, because you're going to be doing a design that's more complex, like a picture or something. But since this is a wood grain, this is why I'm giving you these instructions. If we were doing something else, I would be giving you some other instructions. So anyway, it doesn't really, it's not going to look exactly like we're drawing it on here. So once you get those, I like to go and do the long lines then. So I'm just going to do that for this. And then for this side, I'm just doing this, but then when I get up here, I'm going to go over that. And you don't want any of your lines, especially when you're actually carving it, to crisscross, because then it won't look natural. So you just you're just going up and following the curves of your design. And so now that you have those, you're just going to keep on doing that. I'm actually going to put something else over here. Now that you kind of have it traced on there, like I said, these are only guidelines. You're going to start the carving process. And you can actually do more like I did for this one that I have here. And then you're just going to start carving it out. So remember your tip number 2. And you're just going to start with the circles that are in the middle. And a good tip for this, and I have to do that right now, is to take a little piece of paper, especially if you're working like on the mat that I am. It's not going to let it slide around freely. So I'm going to cut out a piece of paper, I suppose. And then I'm going to place it on top so that it lets me move it around a little bit better. And when you do, especially when you're doing curvy lines, you want to be moving the bottom part more than you move your carving tool. And that just makes it easier to cut evenly, and also to guide it, and the pressure that you're putting on your cutting blade, then it's not moving as much, it's not varying, so it doesn't, you know, make a really deep cut. Also, when you're cutting, you want to keep it more, you know, you don't want to, let me see how to explain this. You don't want to be going in like, this directly down. You kind of want to be on the surface and just slide it around. So I'm just going to go around the circles again. And you can come back and make these a little bit different, especially if they're not coming out the way that you want to, but you want to be more careful now that you're actually carving. So I'm going to do all the circles just like when we drew them. You want to do the circles first so that the lines afterwards don't like interrupt your other patterns. And I'm not really following any of the lines that I made. I'm just using them as a guide to where things are positioned, but I'm not really like going over one of the lines and really trying to trace it, because my lines are not clean and they're not going to be ideal for that. So So just take your little tip right here and then just kind of place it on top of it and then apply pressure, but don't go like this because it will sink into your block. And if you guys want more technique videos on this, I know I've seen some on YouTube, especially like if you look up make your own stamp or something, or block printing, which is what it is, then you can definitely find some. Now that you carved it out, you're going to test it out, and sometimes you have to go back in there if you don't like what you see and maybe take out some of the things that you're not liking. So, great, hold on. So I'm going to take my Versamark and I am going to use that so that, because the first time that you normally stamp these, they don't come out that great. So I found out that if you use the Versamark before, it really makes the ink stick to it and it makes it easier to stamp the first time. So I'm just going to take my Versamark and stamp it out. And since this is the same thing, I mean it's the same method that is used for block printing, you could actually use the block printing ink paint, or you can use acrylic paint and just wash it out, rinse it out afterwards. And the way you would apply the acrylic paint is using a roller, so it goes on there evenly, otherwise it won't work. But I'm just applying the Versamark on here. And then I am taking my StazOn. And you don't have to use StazOn, but my archival ink thing, it's not going to be able to stamp it down this way. And you really want to, when you're adding the stamping ink on there, you want to be able to see if you're getting an even coat, because it's so big. If you do it the other way, it won't work. And my archival Brilliance one is really old, so it's not letting the ink really get in there. So I'm just going to use the StazOn. Just make sure you clean it all out afterwards, or it'll stain it. But okay, when you look at it this way, you can really see what your stamp is gonna look like, and you can see some of the things that you might want to go in there and clean off. Like if you guys can see right here and right here, it doesn't look too clean, so I might go back in there and take some of that off. Or right here where the lines are crisscrossing, I don't like that. So another thing that you're going to do when you stamp this, you don't want to take this and turn it around onto your paper, because it's very likely that it's going to move. And so what you do is you take your piece of paper, and I think I'm going to get a cardstock from down here. Okay, so you take your paper and you're going to put it face down onto this. And then you're going to try with all your might not to move it. And then take something, you can just use your hand or your bone folder and try to put some pressure on it so that it's evenly done. Okay, I think that's good. And then you're going to lift it from one side. And that's what it's going to look like. And actually the cardstock that I use, it has a texture, so it's kind of messing with how it looks on here. But like I said, I do want to go back and try to clean off some of these. And the way that I'm going to do it is like for this one, I'm just gonna go and get the line that was right before it and kind of bring it up so that they're not crisscrossing anymore. And then here I'm just gonna try to clean off some of this. I think I kind of didn't do a good job of that, but it was messed up to begin with, so it's not gonna work. But if you do mess it up, the good thing about this is you can try the other side too. So anyway, let me try and see if that's any. Let me put it on this paper so you guys can get a feeling of what it's actually, a feel of what it's actually gonna look like without the texture interfering. And like I said, since it's such a big stamp, you really have to do this upside down and then put the paper on top of it. Okay, so then once you lift it up, it looks like this. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Thursday. Oh, and I forgot, I'm going to be posting the giveaway, the second part of my giveaway, I think within a week, just because I'm having such a hard time uploading all my videos lately that I don't want to say tomorrow and then not have it done, but I will have it within the week for the next part of the giveaway. And then also, I think I should have posted already who won, but we'll see. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!